Hey everybody, what's up? This is Flashstack. Welcome to another dueling video for Yu-Gi-Oh! The Dawn of a New Era. And boy, I have a treat for you. Today we are doing Phantom Knights. And we're going up against a person with a 60 card deck. Okay then. Whenever I see a 60 card deck, I usually get confused, because decks with a lot of cards are usually unreliable. Looks like this person is a beginning duelist. Let's see. Let's start things off with Armageddon Knight. And we'll use his ability. Let's see, how are we gonna do this? We'll send Phantom Knights of Ragged Gloves to our grave, and I'll go ahead and set. Okay, I'll go ahead and set 40 cards and end my turn. What are they planning? Sea summon? Ooh, Blustering Winds. Yes, I'll activate Phantom Knight's Dark Gauntlet. So this is a difficult one. I'll send Tomb Shield to the grave. Going to activate Phantom Knight's Sword. And then I'm going to also activate Phantom Knight's Wing. And then I'll activate Phantom Knight's Shadow Veil. So right away I have a monster with 3,000 attack. That's fun. No. Yes, so Wing is going to use its effect and prevent my destruction. Let's see, what do I have in my grave? Okay. I'll normal summon Phantom Knights of Clovenhelm. Set Fog Blade. Activate the effects of Phantom Knight's Wing. Special summon Phantom Knight's Ragged Glove. Battle phase, attack, 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 and I will end my main phase 2. I guess I'll just end my turn. Honestly, I thought I was going to be able to do a lot better this duel. Let's see what they do next. Copycat? No, I'm not going to activate the effect. There's still an 800-point difference. And now I'm going to activate the effect of Sword. Special Summon. Cloven Helm. Armageddon Knight will attack. Followed up by Cloven Helm. And that's game. I think I can get one more duel in, so I'll be right back. Okay, we got another duel against Caesar Melgar. 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know if I said right. Okay, so what's he gonna choose? He chose second. Okay then. Okay. I'll activate Phantom Knight's Spear. Set. 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 Then set. And I'll end my turn. What's their plan? I honestly have no clue. I normally don't do multiple duels in one video, so this is going to be interesting. I haven't done this since my very early videos on Dueling Network. Okay then. Well then, I'm just going to Exceed Summon Phantom Knights of Break Sword. Activate Shadow Veil's effect to boost the attack of Break Sword. Battle phase, attack directly for 3,300. I wonder what's going on. A 53 card deck usually isn't a good number. Okay. First I'll activate the effect of the Phantom Knights of Break Sword. So detach Ragged Gloves, destroy Ancient Cloak and this face down. I'll activate the effect of Ancient Cloak. To add Silent Boots to my hand. which I will special summon. Then I'll also activate Escape from the Dark Dimension to special summon Ancient Cloak from my grave. Then I'll overlay them. And then I'll attack with both for the win. And that's game. Okay, onto the deck. Be right back. Okay, so I'm gonna go ignore that Silva. I was playing with Dark Worlders earlier, you know, just for nostalgia. I could make another Dark Worlders video, but Dark World video, but I don't have many edits to that deck. I haven't made many edits since the last time. So I'm just gonna go over this deck really quickly. It is very heavy on the trap cards. Maybe that's the reason why I was having a bit of difficulty. Nonetheless, we're gonna go over it right now. So, I'm gonna get this out of the way though. Is not the best Phantom Knights deck around. I mean, I've seen plenty of really good Phantom Knights decks. This is mediocre at best. But yeah, fair warning. I mean, sure, I did well there, but those people apparently had either really bad decks or really bad hands. So, let's get straight into the deck now. Phantom Knights of Cloven Helm. If a Phantom Knights card is sent to your graveyard, this card gains 500 attack. That's good. You can banish this card from your graveyard during the end phase of this turn. Add one Phantom Knights card from your graveyard to your hand. So that is a very good ability that lets you add almost any card in this deck to the hand. So any Phantom Knights trap card or spell card, any Phantom Knights monster. The only cards in this deck that aren't Phantom Knights is this Foolish Burial, this Escape from the Dark Dimension, and these two Armageddon Knights. Other than that, the rest is pretty much pure Phantom Knights. You can only activate each effect once per turn. Yeah, so, yeah, graveyard to hand. Remember that, graveyard to hand. I remember when I first started using it, I thought it was from deck to hand, so. Next, Armageddon Knight. When summoned, send one dark monster from your deck to your graveyard, which allows you to activate their effects in the grave. Phantom Knights of Fragile Armor. If a face of the Phantom Knights monster you control is destroyed by battle or effect, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can banish this card from your graveyard and send one Phantom Knights card from your hand to the graveyard. Draw one card. You can only use each effect of the Phantom Knights of Fragile Armor once per turn. So, it's a good card, and it has very good defense, but it is a little bit difficult to pull some things off, you know, such as, well, you get my point. You get my point. How discarding cards, it doesn't seem like a very useful thing to do. Just my opinion. Phantom Knights of Ragged Gloves. A dark Xyz monster that was Xyz summoned using this card on the field as an Xyz material gains this effect. If it is Xyz summoned, it gains 1000 attack. Many of the monsters in this extra deck are dark Xyz monsters. So, keep that in mind. You can banish this card from your graveyard, send one Phantom Knights card from your deck to the graveyard. So, that means any spell or trap or monster. Basically, I would send the traps to the grave, because you'll see why later. Anyway, Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. If this card is in attack position, you can target one dark monster on the field. Change this card to defense position, and if you do, that monster gains 800 attack and defense until the end of your opponent's turn. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Add one the Phantom Knights card from your deck to your hand, except the Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak. So, it says the Phantom Knights, so that means a monster. The trap cards and the spell card are only Phantom Knights, not the Phantom Knights. So that is you gotta be very picky about that. Next, the Phantom Knights Silent Boots. If you control the Phantom Knights monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. You can only special summon the Phantom Knights Silent Boots once per turn this way. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Add one Phantom Knight spell or trap card from your deck to your hand. You can only use this effect once per turn. So, another good effect. adding any Phantom Knight spell or trap card from your deck to your hand? That's amazing. One copy of Foolish Barrel, because you're only allowed to have one. You can send one monster from your deck to your graveyard. So they do have their abilities in the graveyard. They do have some use. Next, Phantom Knight's Spear. Each time an opponent activates a card or effect that targets a Phantom Knight's monster or monsters you control, inflict 500 damage to your opponent immediately after it resolves. If a dark monster you control would be destroyed by battle or an opponent's card effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. So very versatile, can deal burn damage, and on top of that, it can prevent destruction if it's in the grave. Phantom Knight's Dark Gauntlet. Send one Phantom Knight spell or trap card from your deck to your graveyard. So, yeah. That is very useful because a lot of the best trap card effects activate while in the grave. And also, if this card's in your graveyard and your opponent declares a direct attack while you control no cards, and this card is in your graveyard, special summon this card in defense position as effect monster, you know, all that stuff, but banish it when it leaves the field. This card is not treated as a trap card. If summoned this way, this card gains 300 defense for each Phantom Knight spell or trap card in your graveyard. So, with the way this deck goes, there's going to be a lot of Phantom Knights cards being sent to the grave, so this card's going to gain a lot of defense. And keep in mind, it's a level 4, so you can summon a level 4 next turn and overlay. And since it's overlaid, it won't be banished. Phantom Knight's Tomb Shield. Special summon this card in attack position as a normal monster. This card's not treated as a trap card. So, that's good, I guess. You get an extra monster. But I really like the second effect. During your turn, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish the card from your graveyard and target one face-up trap card your opponent controls, negate its effects until the end of this turn. So, that's a pretty good effect. So anytime during your turn, you can banish the card from your graveyard, negate the effects of face-up trap card. You can chain this effect to the effect of another trap card that's just been activated. Since it's technically face-up, it negates it. At least I think that's how it works. I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Anyway, Phantom Knight's Shadow Veil. Target one face-up monster control against 300 attack and defense. We've already witnessed that. However, when an opponent's monster declares an attack while this card is in your graveyard, special summon this card in defense position. All that. If summoned this way, banish it when it leaves the field. So basically, this is just a disposable shield. Unless you have a card to prevent this thing from being destroyed, which you do. You have a lot of cards to prevent destruction. So you can defend it, but unless you defend it, it's just going to be banished right away. So, Phantom Knight's Wing. Target one face-up monster on the field, gains 500 attack. Also, the first time the target would be destroyed by battle or card effect this turn, it is not destroyed. You can banish the card from your graveyard, then target one of the Phantom Knight's monster in your graveyard, special summon it, but banish it when it leaves the field. You can only use this effect once per turn. So once again, I'm going to say this, any card that would be banished when it leaves the field, instead you can overlay it with another monster and it won't be banished, because Xyz monsters don't count as Xyz materials don't count as leaving the field when they're used as an Xyz material, nor do they count as leaving the field when they're sent to the graveyard and detached, because they never were on the field to begin with. Just clarifying that. Also, this attack boost is permanent. Just keeping that in mind. Phantom Knight's Fogblade. Activate this effect by targeting one effect monster on the field. Negate that face-up monster's effects. That face-up monster cannot attack. Also, monsters cannot target the face-up monster for attacks. When it leaves the field, destroy this card. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one of the Phantom Knight's monster in graveyard, special summon, banish it when it leaves the field, blah blah blah, only once per turn. Yeah. One copy of Escape from the Dark Dimension, you know, if you want to special summon one of your banished dark monsters. Has its uses. And finally, we have the not the Phantom Knight Sword, just Phantom Knight Sword. Activate this card by targeting one face of monster field. It gains 800 attack. Also, if that target would be destroyed by battle or a card effect, you can destroy this card instead. When it leaves the field, destroy this card. You can banish this card from your graveyard and target one of the Phantom Knights monster in your graveyard. Special summon it, but blah blah blah. Banish it when it leaves field only once per turn. Okay. Now, before we go into any of the other Xyz monsters, we're going to start off with the Phantom Knights of Break Sword, the main Xyz monster of this deck. You need 2 level 3 monsters. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then target 1 card your opponent controls and 1 card you control and destroy them. If this Xyz summon card is destroyed, you can target 2 the Phantom Knights monsters with the same level in your graveyard, special summon them, and increase their levels by 1. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except dark monsters. Good thing that you got rank 4 Dark Xyz monsters in this deck. No, extra deck, technically. So, a common tactic is to target cards you control and then chain their effects. That's a common way. If you have only 1 Xyz material left on here, or you just want to get a more powerful Xyz monster out, you can activate this effect to destroy itself, and then through its own effect afterwards, you special summon the Xyz materials, Xyz summon a rank 4, and the most common thing to do is have, Ragged Gloves as an Xyz material, and then using that effect, they're special summoned along with another level 3. They both change to level 4 overlay again, and then you get another Dark Xyz monster that is even more attack, more powerful effect, and it gets that 1,000 attack point boost. Next, we're going to look at Ghost Trick Alucard, 2 level 3 monsters. Your opponent cannot target other Ghost Trick monsters or any face-down defense position monsters for attacks. So the Ghost Trick part doesn't really matter. Unless you have 2 Alucards on the field, then they can't do anything. You can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then target 1 set card your opponent controls, destroy that target. You can only use this effect once per turn. This card is sent to the graveyard. You can target 1 other Ghost Trick card in your graveyard, add that target to your hand. So once again, if there's another Alucard in your graveyard, you target that and send that back to your extra deck. Next, I put in 1 copy of Black Grey Lancer, which you can't even use in this deck. I'm an idiot. Give me a second to find a better replacement. You saw nothing. I put in a 3rd copy of Alucard. Just because. Anyway, next we're gonna move on to the next Dark Xyz monster. We got number 66, Master Key Beetle, which you need 2 level 4 dark monsters to get. Once per turn, you can detach 1 Xyz material from this card, then target 1 card you control, except this card. While this card is face up on the field, that card cannot be destroyed by card effects. If this face up card on the field would be destroyed, you can send one of its targets to the graveyard instead. You can set it up to where this card gets a 1,000 point boost from Ragged Gloves. Then, you can set it up to where it can't be destroyed because of other card effects. And then you can also stack to where you make this card's effect target another. And then you can have other trap cards boost this card attack even more. This card, if set up correctly, can be devastating to your opponent. Now, here comes another devastating one. We have Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, a common card in Phantom Knight's decks because it is a deck theme that Yugioh uses in the anime, and he is the original owner of Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. So, simple enough, 2 level 4 monsters, detach 2 Xyz materials from this card, and target 1 face of monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack, and if it does, this card gains that lost attack. So basically, you steal half of their attack points. Simple enough, right? So you're always going to have 2,500 attack points more than your opponent. Unless Ragged Gloves is an Xyz material. Then its attack becomes 3,500. Then it gets the boost from taking half of your opponent's monster's attack. Devastating. Combine this effect with anything that negates its destruction, or the effect of Master Key Beetle. Ooh, that's going to be really powerful. On to the final 3, final 2, but you get what I mean. There's 2 copies of Costello the Sky Blaster Musketeer, you know, just in case you need to get rid of any pesky cards your opponent controls. You can detach 1 exceedance material from this card and target 1 face-up monster on the field, change it to face-down defense position. That's not what it's here for. You can detach 2 exceedance materials from this card, then target 1 other face-up card on the field, shuffle it into the deck. You can only have one. You can only use 1 copy. You can only use 1. Sorry, 1 effect per turn and only once per turn. I don't know where I was going with this. I'm not reading. Then 1 copy of number 1 under 1 Silent Arc. Detach 2 exceedance materials. Target 1 special summon monster your opponent controls. Face attack position. Attach it to this card's exceedance material. You can also detach 1 exceedance material to negate this card's destruction. Fun, huh? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't forget to click that like button down below and subscribe for more. I did not put a lot of thought into this. I was just messing around earlier, and I saw that I had this deck already made, and I figured, you know what, I'll test it out, show it on video, because being prepared is for chumps. It isn't. I really respect you if you are really prepared. Okay, this is a sign that I'm up too late. It's like almost 12 o'clock, and I didn't. Whew. Anyway, until next time, this has been Flashstack, and I will see you all later.